What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Trend. I'm your host, Dario Kristen, and joining me today is Courtney Stewart.
Hey, guys. Welcome back.
Welcome back. We are excited. It's now September, which is crazy. We're knee deep into third, fourth quarter of the year. So it's like, what's going on? I say it every year, but the year just flies by, right? So here we are again, but I'm happy to be doing the show because we got a special guest with us today. We got Angel Kristi Williams, who is directing Really Love, which we're all excited about because it's bringing back Black love. So anytime I can talk about Black love, I'm excited.
For sure. And the movie is beautiful.
Oh, thank you all so much. Thank you both. That's love. That intro too, by the way. I love it.
Okay, good. Listen, for special people, I like to bring my special energy. That's all I got to say.
And that special voice.
Oh, thank you. I received that. If you want to cast me for your voiceovers, I'm available, because you're doing big things.
Yes.
You're doing big things. Well, we're excited to have you here today. I know that we are trying to live through this whatever this is right now. I think that we thought the year was going to go a different direction. And then, you know what, we've been hit with so many obstacles, but we're still trying to push through, so I'm excited to talk about projects that I feel like right now, especially just the way, even though the year has been the way it has been with COVID and all those other things, it's been really prosperous for Black folks and developing shows and movies and content. So that part I'm excited about. So we are super excited to have you here today to talk about your project. And let's just even start off with Really Love. Just what's the premise like? Because I know it debuted on Netflix on 8/25, August 25th, a week after my birthday. So tell us.
Happy belated.
Thank you. Tell us all about the film. I know you got some heavy hitter actors in there, which I know you'll get into, but let's tell us about the plot.
Yeah, so this is a pre-COVID film, right? Which is this, can't even imagine, right? Like what that's like. But so the premise is, it's about this figurative painter set in Washington, D.C. Hold on one second. There's a plane going by. So
You know what? That's the new normal of interviews. We gotta have.
We gotta have the LA chopper in the background.
A dog may come in the room at any moment right now.
It's ambient. It's just ambient sound now. We just accept
it brings. It brings our professionalism. We know how to maneuver.
Okay. All right. Got you. Okay. So the premise is Isaiah, who's played by Kofi Siriboe, is a figurative painter. Think Noah Davis. Kerry James Marshall, lives in DC, born and raised, and he's trying to figure out how to make a living. Just creating work, right? Comes from this very blue collar family, third generation Washingtonians, and kind of pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Doesn't understand why he wants to be an artist and not just get a government job like everybody else. So he's on the verge of like really trying to figure out how to live in his passion when he meets and falls in love with this Black woman in DC who's from a very wealthy Black family, Stevie, who's played so beautifully by Yuta Wong Sing. And they fall in love really hard, really fast. And she inspires his work and his career takes off. And he sort of struggles to figure out the balance between his first love, which is his art, and then this new love, which is this beautiful Black woman. So it's, I would describe it as this bittersweet love story that is about, how do you balance the two, the personal and the professional.
For sure. I love that. So I have to reveal a little secret. So this weekend, I'm having a little Black folks party for Labor Day, and one of the things we're doing is watching your film. So I'm excited.
Oh, wow.
We got our wine, we got some candles, we're gonna play a little music before. So I'm super excited about this because Kofi also has been, I feel like we've kind of
watched him grow up.
Watched him grow. He was one of the first people we interviewed on our show. And it's just really been cool to watch his career just prosper and just him take it to the next level, and he's just doing big things. So I'm excited to see your film and just what you're doing with this. And I think also we need a Black love story. We need something that speaks to us. And we've been going through so much stuff the last year that it makes me even more excited to know that we're going to watch a film that captures that emotion, you know?
Sure.
So how long did you start working on this project? Like when did this first begin? Like when did you first start kind of like getting
How did you come to it?
come to it? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so Felicia Pride, who is my partner in crime and co-collaborator, she and I met through a mutual friend at a barbecue in LA in 2015. She's also from Baltimore, like myself, and we had a mutual friend who's a producer who had been trying to introduce us. She was like, you know, it's a Black woman, you know, from Baltimore, just moved to LA. And finally, we're in the same place at the same time. And we just started, you know, chatting casually at, you know, the barbecue. And she was a novelist prior. And she started talking about her first screenplay that she had written. And she described it to me as a Love Jones meets Blue Valentine set in DC, and that she was looking for a director. And I knew that I wanted my first feature to be a romance, you know, because you know, my favorite films are, you know, romantic dramas. And she shared the script with me. And that following week, we were having dinner, and she was like, I want you to direct this film. So that kind of began our process. We continued to develop the script for 2 years, and then we pitched it to Macro. So this has been like, for me, 6 years in the making, but prior to Felicia and I even meeting, she had been, you know, developing the script for, I believe, like 8 years before. So it has been, you know, it's something that had been sitting with her in terms of this very personal story of being an artist in this Black city and trying to navigate, you know, this life, right, where you're following your dream, but also like being in love and being a Black woman. And then, you know, what was her story, like ultimately, like my story found its way in there as well, because I think you can't tell a love story without it becoming deeply personal. So it's both of our, you know, just journeys with love, and not just romantic love, but like the love of Black people and community and art and our work and our family. And, you know, there's just, we just made a film that we wanted to see ourselves in, honestly.
You did a lovely job, and seeing the love and the love making was just so heartwarming. Like, just to see love in general right now, like he was saying, like it's so needed and necessary, and positive stories are always just great for the soul at any point in time. But you did bring up when you guys first interacted that she said it was kind of like, you know, Love Jones meets Blue Valentine. How do you feel about the consistent comparison? Anytime it's like a Black love story, it's like referenced back as Love Jones. Now that you've kind of gone through the whole process and all of that, what are your thoughts around that?
I mean, it's the highest compliment to me. Like, when I saw Love Jones on VHS tape when I was 17, and I didn't even know what love was, but after seeing that film, I was like, I want to fall in love, right? And I just remembered, you know, Darius and Nina were just, you know, their lives were just so beautifully depicted, like their friends. I wanted to be in their friend group. I wanted someone to look at me the way that they looked at each other. And so for me, like, that comparison is the highest compliment. I don't know if I can fully receive it, right? Because that was such a huge reference for Really Love, you know, in addition to In the Mood for Love and Nothing But a Man, which is an old Black and white romance with Ivan Dixon. But like, yeah, I mean, the comparison is kind of crazy, right? Because it's like, I aspire to make a film that resonated with me in the same way that Love Jones did, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I will say you did it.
You know, and another thing, I'm so excited. Courtney already told me, I don't want her to tell me too much about it because I just want to be pleasantly surprised, like just to be so excited about it. And I don't like to know too much information because then it's like I just go into it like, oh, I'm already knowing what's going on. But one thing I also applaud is the fact of like, you know, we've been fans of Charles King for a while. He's a friend, and just love what he's doing for Black filmmaking and just the fact that you're a part of that as well. I mean, I feel like it's like a whole new legacy of just Black filmmaking. So kudos to you and him for creating that and putting that in front of us. What would you say is one of your favorite moments of the film, and like a scene that like you felt like when you were watching it, you're like, oh, this is I did this right here.
Not the, that's, I mean, I mean, there's so many, I have so many favorites, right? Like Felicia and I developed this project for so long that, when we were writing, it was like, any scene that we didn't love, it had to come out of the script. So there are many, but I would have to say my favorite scene, there's a scene right after it's clear that they've fallen in love and they are embarking on this relationship where their relationship is going to the next level. And it's just this very quiet scene where they're in her bedroom and she's reading and he's just they're just resting. And she says to him, like, I think you should stay. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna spend the night. And she says, no, I mean, stay. And so what she really means is like, I want you to move in, but she doesn't come out and say that. And he knows what she means, even though she didn't say what she actually meant. And it's just this moment of two people wanting to be vulnerable, but not fully able or not, just not wanting to be like fully vulnerable, even though the feelings are there. And I just think that that is relationship. You know what I mean? It's like, the things that you don't say, and Yuta and Kofi, just their chemistry is just so palpable in terms of like both what they say to each other, but then also the silences in between. Like there's so much in what is not said between them that you can feel it.
Mystery.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you guys were going through the casting process, did you already have like Kofi or UT in mind? Like, how did you find them together? Because their chemistry was remarkable.
It was magical, to be quite honest with you. So when we embarked on the casting process, initially, our shooting schedule was such that Kofi was unavailable because Queen Sugar wasn't wrapping until, I think, sometime in early July, right? And we were supposed to begin filming in June. So he just wasn't a possibility, but had been on, like I had this long list of like actors that I saw could play this character, and Kofi was, at the top of that list. But as production would have it, our dates pushed and we were starting mid-July. And all of a sudden, Kofi became available. And so, this option was on the table. And so he had read the script, loved it. He was in LA. And so we had dinner and we ended up talking for 5 hours about life, about love, about, art, about, just being Black. And it was just so many things. Like we just sat there over dinner and cocktails, and I'd never met him before. That was our first time meeting, and it felt like we'd known each other for a very long time. And I was just like, whoa, like he is this character, but also I just felt like this kinship. And he was so passionate about telling this story because I think he could really relate to it in that moment in his life. And we offered him the role and he accepted, and he literally wrapped Queen Sugar and flew to Baltimore and started filming Really Love a week later. Like he didn't even have much of a break in between, and I'm just so grateful to him for that.
I have a question for you. So one thing I feel like is very important in telling a love story is being able to capture the male and female perspective, and especially in the storytelling and the writing. What was it, the process that you went through to make sure that both were captivated? Like we talked about Love Jones. I know we keep comparing it to Love Jones, but Love Jones definitely was a film that both male and females could relate to. And sometimes I feel like that gets lost in certain love stories. It's a little bit one-sided. How did you go about making sure that that was captured on both sexes?
That's a great question. So I didn't plan this, but the process of making this film, it put me in a very vulnerable place. And I joke, but it's true. I, at some point, realized that I was both of these characters. Like, I had inserted myself into them. So I am, this woman who is a hopeless romantic and wants to be madly in love, right? Who's very ambitious. And I'm also this artist, right? Who puts her work before everything else. And so for me, I am both equal parts Isaiah and Stevie. I just try to, I always knew, the thing that I love about love stories that really like hit me in the chest is like, I fall in love with both of the characters. And I knew that, I just wanted to like know who both of these people were like deeply, even down to like knowing like their zodiac signs. Like that never comes up in the story, but for me, like in terms of process and even for their process as actors, it's like I was giving them all of those things so that they could, layer them in the best way that they felt made sense.
Love that.
Like, was Youthie a Leo?
Stevie is a Leo, yes.
I knew it.
And
Leo, what's up, Leo?
And Isaiah is an Aquarius.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's aligned. Okay.
Yeah, right. It's like
that worked out.
Probably, I don't know. I think people would say, oh, Leos and Aquarius aren't compatible, but they're actually like two very ambitious people who love deeply. And so their love it's like twin flames. It's very powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't want to obviously to give away the ending or anything, but that last scene, it's a little open-ended, but not like what sort of went into the decision of how to go with the last.
Yeah. So first of all, let me just say, like, Black folks, some of them are coming for me about
hot.
They were like, how could you end it this way? Like,
yes.
What, like, where is the rest? Where is the part two?
Yep.
It's been such a joy to just see these conversations happening, right? So originally the screenplay was titled Open-Ended, and we changed the name. But Felicia's intention for the film, not to spoil it, but we really didn't want to wrap everything up neatly in a bow. Like, I think that relationships are complicated. They're not straight lines. Sometimes they are triangles. They are perpendicular. Like, it's a rectangle, like all of these things. And so, and then I've never wrapped a story up in a neat bow like that, right? Sometimes unconsciously, but I think that the conversation that people are having about, kind of where the story goes is the point. You know what I mean? Because I really wanted it to, for people to be able to kind of like create their own ending, right? And it can be whatever you feel in your heart, right? Which is also where they are, right? When we get to that final scene. But for me, that final scene, to me, is the moment where everything that she wanted him to express is embodied in what she sees, right? And you haven't seen it, so I don't want to. And I don't.
Yeah, I'm like.
Yeah, like that final scene is about everything that she needs from him,
Okay. Okay, that's fair.
And I loved it so much and hated it all at the same time. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, wait.
So I appreciate you being honest, right? You're like, I love it and I hate it.
I love it and I hate it. And I watched it back like 3 times to make sure I didn't miss anything. And I was like, oh my God, it was overwhelming actually, like that last scene. It was beautifully done. And I'm just curious if it was like,
thank you,
planned that way or what have you, but that was great. That was great.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I appreciate that.
Well, even with the title "Really Love," what does that mean for you, and why was that important for that to be the final title?
It started as a question, and just inspired by D'Angelo's song of the same title. But also, I think there's this question is like, and it can be phrased so many different ways, but is it really love? What really is love? This is really love, like a definitive statement, yeah, I think it was just, yeah, I wanted it to be a question, right? It's like, what does love mean to you? What does love look like?
Yeah.
And is this really what it looks like?
Yeah, because everyone has their own perspective on what that is and what really love is. That's deep.
Yeah, exactly. And it means so many different things to different people,
Yeah.
Sure. And I love that you had the moment with mother and daughter talking about
Suzanne Douglas.
And that's where I'm going. And obviously Suzanne Douglas, one of her last features on film. How was it to work with her? And do you have any great memories you'd like to share about the time you guys spent on set?
So many. I mean, Suzanne, I've admired her from afar for so many years. She's just one of those people that I remember seeing her on my screen and just being like, she's just something so regal about her. And she walked on set and we were all just in awe of her presence, just so warm, so loving. We had so many conversations about her daughter. She had one daughter whom she adored. And, I fell in love with her immediately. She walked on set and she was that character. Like, you know what I mean? Like, beauty team didn't have to do nothing. Like, Suzanne walked on set and Yuta and Kofi were just so honored to be in a scene with her and to spar with her. And she just took, especially Yuta, under her wing because they had so many beautiful scenes together as mother and daughter in the film. And I took that really hard. It was very hard to get that news. And I feel so grateful and blessed to have met her, but also to have etched her in this film. I just hope that she would be proud of, the performance. Yeah.
I'm sure she is, and watching over this film and giving you even more light and love for the success of it, and you've done such a spectacular job of just capturing certain things that just are important in love in Black film and filmmaking. So that's why even for me, I was like, oh, I'm having a party. I'm watching the film. We're going to do this Labor Day weekend. Like I said, I got my wine. I got some friends. Got some candles. We got some good food. We're going to do this, right?
I need to see like video or
I'm going to send you a video.
Yes.
I'm going to send you a video. You can hold me to that. I'm going to send you a video.
What's on the menu though?
Oh, well, we're still making that, but I mean, I know that, we're still creating. We're still creating. We got the wine covered. We got to get the other stuff covered. But I know.
I mean, it could be DC inspired. If you're really trying to,
I love that.
That's what, I'm not mad at that. That's a good idea. So it's going down Sunday night. So I'm
okay. Yeah. So you don't have a whole lot of time, but
days. I know mac and cheese is on there, but that's a different.
All right. Okay.
Not mad.
All right.
Before we go, I also want to talk about the fact that you are working on another series. So tell us about that, because Ava's involved as well.
Yes. Yes, so very exciting. I mean, I actually have several things coming. So Colin in Black and White, which is a Netflix original series, Ava and Colin Kaepernick. Really excited. That's coming October 29th. And then I directed the season opener plus 3 additional episodes of Cherish the Day for OWN, which is a romance anthology and stars Joy Bryant and Henry Simmons, who are the couple, and it's set in New Orleans. Sending so many prayers to New Orleans right now because they got hit really hard by the hurricane. But you know, when it is okay to return, I'll be finishing up the season finale of that show. But really exciting. I think I've kind of been, you know, sort of the romance thing is like I accept it with open arms. I love it. Yeah. So those are the 2 immediate things.
I was gonna say I see a little theme with the love and romance, but if there is, what other genre would you really like to direct? Like, what would be something that you would like to?
Ooh, you know, I really love mystery and thriller. So like crime. So excited about, you know, playing in that space as well.
Love that.
Yeah. But you know, for me, I just want to tell stories about Black folks, and relationships. So I'm open, like, you know, as long as I have something to latch on to. I don't, you know, I think there are multiple stories, right, that excite me. So just so far it has been romance, but I'm definitely open to exploring other things as well.
Well, there can never be enough romance with Black folks.
Right.
We've had so much that's not Black people. It feels so good to consistently see Black people loving on screen.
Yes. They already talking about a part 2, by the way, which is this other conversation, you know. So
we need that. We need to know, just like we wanted to know what happened on Love Jones, like what happened to Nina, like, and
that's
together, did they make it work? Like, what happened? We need to know.
Yeah.
We would love for you to come back and tell that story when you create it. So
okay, yeah, you got it. I mean, consider it done.
And where can fans find you to find out more about the projects you're working on social media? I don't know if you like how active you are as far as, like, I'm sure fans have lots of questions, but where can they direct their questions or just find out what you're doing?
I'm on Instagram and Twitter a little bit. So Instagram is just my whole name, Angel Kristi Williams, and then Twitter is Angel Kristi, and then Williams is abbreviated to Williams, which is how my father used to pronounce Williams.
Okay.
Just WMS. So yeah, they can keep up with everything that's happening there for sure.
And they can find Really Love on Netflix right now.
On Netflix, it's on Netflix right now. Yeah, we're trying to make it #1. So
let's do it.
Let's do it.
It will be this weekend for sure.
Oh, for
sure.
Yes.
You know, it's a good. I'm so happy, you know, when you are in the process of selling the film, you never know what the timing is going to be for it to be distributed. And I had always hoped that because it's a summer love story, that it would come out in the summer. Yeah. And so I couldn't be more excited about this timing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Great time period.
Summer love story. We got fires and all kind of wild stuff happening. It's nice to come to a screen and just talk about love. Watch love.
Because everybody wants that. Especially in what we had last year. We need some love and extra love.
Some extra love.
Extra love.
Extra love, for sure.
Courtney, where can fans find you?
I'm all over Instagram, Twitter at Stuart Starlet, and make sure you follow us at @WeAre_the_trend.
Yes, and you can find me at Dario Krishna on Instagram, Twitter, all over the social medias, and also on Entertainment Tonight Live. And keep tuning in, and we are excited to see what more projects that Angel does, and she will be coming back and telling us all about them. So be sure to check out Really Love on Netflix right now. Make it your weekend thing.
Put it in your queue. Don't wait.
Don't wait. Yeah. Make it #1. Make it #1.
I appreciate y'all so much. Love the conversation. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Come
And
back.
thank you for doing the work and
Oh,
sticking with it.
I made it for us.
Yes.
Made it for us.
Yes.
So
Appreciate it for
yeah.
sure.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Take
All right,
care.
talk to y'all soon.
For
Bye-bye.
sure. Take care.
Okay, you too. Bye.